Hey y'all, so I am a huge Tina Turner fan, and I got to go down and visit her store in Hollywood, and y'all, it really moved my heart because Tina is one of my favorite girls, and there are people out there that they just love her, y'all. They came to celebrate. This is Rio right here. He flew in to celebrate Tina. She's loved, and we will continue to celebrate her. My husband and I have been performing her music for quite a while, and we plan to continue to keep her legacy and life alive through the music. Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. How y'all doing out there? Welcome, Facebook, and welcome to YouTube. I appreciate y'all being on tonight. It really means a lot to me. I am Chantel Denise, and my husband and I love us some Tina Turner. Okay, so we are excited to be back for a part 2 to really share about our journey with her music. We've had a beautiful journey. It's been amazing. And we just are excited to be able to share some of that with you. We're also going to give you some shots of, a few clips about how when we first started, what it looked like. Oh my gosh. When I go back to look at some of those videos, and I'm just like, woo. But we've grown over the years, and it's been truly, truly amazing, y'all. So without further ado, I want to bring my husband in. Come on in, hubby. Join me.
Ta-da.
If you guys could hear us well, please say in the chat, I hear y'all.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
Do you like the matching color scheme?
Oh yeah, we got nice. I got some sizzling.
You got some sizzle, yes.
Some sparkle here. So y'all, this is John, my husband, and together we do a tribute to Tina Turner. We are not impersonators at all. We are actually people who pay tribute and honor, and there's a difference. Okay, yes. So do you know what the difference is between that? Tribute and a impersonator?
Well, I think probably impersonator probably was the idea that came out first, and I don't know if this is actually totally factual, but I mean, when I think of impersonator, I think of Las Vegas and people who dress in costume, and maybe they sing the tracks or they do appearances, or they're sort of playing a character. Whereas a tribute is someone who studies the music, the moves, the show, the performance, the attitude, the person's career, and really tries to embody that person in a performance to give the audience a simulation, right? As close as you can, without the actual artist being there, but delivering the performance as if the person that you're honoring is actually there. So you try to get them to suspend disbelief a little bit.
Nice. Yeah. I like that. I like that. So, for me, I feel very similar. I also feel like there's a difference because the impersonator almost tries to mimic it to the T, and I remember this. I don't know if you remember, we did a performance once, and the gentleman that had hired us, he literally was like, well, why is she doing that? Tina doesn't do that, right? And he wanted me to really just mimic kind of everything that Tina did. Yeah. And I always like to give people a little bit of Chantel because I am there on the stage. But he had a problem with that. And I think that, we didn't really work with him much longer after that. But I think that when you're doing an impersonation, there is an element to mimic it actually 100% as it is. And there's really no kind of, you don't really get to see the person that's actually doing the impersonation. You're actually looking so much more toward the actual icon, the actual artist that you're impersonating. So there's a mimicking almost to the T. And so I never really mimicked Tina to the T. I just tried to impersonate her as much as possible and really give people the essence. Yes. And Tina actually gave Angela Bassett a compliment. She said that Angela actually did not mimic her. She literally took on that role and dug deep within herself to give that Tina essence. It was her basically doing the performance. And I thought that was one of the best compliments, that Tina could have ever given someone that was paying honor to her.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what we do. We're all about honoring. So with
Yes.
that said, before we get into the meat of this time tonight, I do want to ask you, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, I put a link in the chat. Please go there and subscribe, because I'm trying to really grow this particular channel. And actually, I'm upgrading it. So there's going to be some new stuff happening on that channel. So I cannot wait to show you guys that. But tonight, as we talk about our journey with Tina Turner and who she was in our life, I definitely want to start off with the whole impersonating and paying honor. So when you think about honor, John, and we talked last week a little bit, but when you think about honor, what honor and paying tribute, what does that actually mean to you, to actually honor somebody?
Well, it's to elevate them, to uplift them, to demonstrate a respect for them. So, the idea of doing an impersonation show, or really solid mimicry, where you're acting almost, I would say that's different qualitatively than tribute, in that what we do is that we're not approaching it as if like we're serious about, like, okay, this is it, and then you got to put us up on a pedestal. What we're there to do is the high quality entertainment and encouragement, and make sure that the people leave experiencing the vibe, the energy, the songs that they love. Not taking ourselves too seriously, but essentially referring them back to the original artist.
Saying, I like that.
You have allowed us a little bit of time to come here and play these songs for you. We'll be faithful to them. We'll put our own little spin on them, in small places here and there, so that you get a vibe that, we're not so serious about ourselves, but that, we don't think that we're the actual artist, but we're actually ultimately encouraging you to go and look at the original artist, see the greatness, see why we're influenced by it, and, take some time to learn their stuff. And then, next year, come back and see us again. We might add some different stuff on there.
Some different stuff on there. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I always look at and honoring very similar. And the other aspect of that you are, it's almost like it's an honor for you. Also, it's like you're paying honor, but it's also an honor for you to be able to be honoring someone. And I think that's something that I wanted to talk a little bit about tonight, is that, when we take on covering the songs, and I highlighted it just a little bit last, when we take on the songs of an artist, it's not our song. No. It's their song. Yes. So basically, but we make it our own, in a sense of we're committed to it, to learning it, the material as it is, as well as singing it from a place of giving all of you. So I look at, when I'm honoring Tina Turner, I'm singing the song from a place where I give all of me. I'm not necessarily going there to get claps or get someone to say, oh, you're so awesome. That's not what I'm seeking. Now, that happens sometimes where people really enjoy it, and then they just go like, oh, that was amazing. But I'm not pursuing that. I'm pursuing telling the story of the song. So I feel like honor is really capturing that you're really focused on, what is my purpose with why I do this song, and how am I going to do it to leave an imprint of what the artist wrote. And that's Tina Turner for us, but also some other people that we play their songs when we're performing. So we're musicians that we performed all over like the US. I mean, we've done a lot of performances and gotten paid for them. So we're professional musicians. We're not coming to you as people who are trying to start a band. We've started a few. Some of them, and we talked about last week, how we learned from how we started a better way to do it. And I think that now we're actually creating better products, and creating and also building a team that's actually, as you mentioned before, that is a part of the vision, that we all kind of have the same vision. So with this aspect, of honoring, I wanted to ask you, this is something that I think that is very important, is, have you considered, thought about what like is your favorite part about paying honor to Tina Turner? Like, what
Yeah.
is the most special thing about that for you?
Well, the first thing is that we get to play together, and that has excellence in it, and it has challenges, but it's made us grow. It's made us learn. It's made us better. Um, Beyond that, I would say that the greatest thing is really to present music history to people.
Mm.
So much of music is just here and now. Whatever era we grow up in, there's a music that's played on the radio or on your Spotify or whatnot that you are accustomed to, right? Young people have what they have, and everybody thinks that their stuff at their time is the best, right? We all do that. And then we all turn into our parents afterwards, like, and get critical of the next generation. But what I love is being able to do this long retrospective career of music that actually gives people a whole history lesson and essentially sets them up to understand, well, where did all the stuff that I'm listening to now, what's the basis for it? When you're going back to the 60s, right? Without that, you don't have the modern music because it started back then. So that really is a really cool thing.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yes. For me, I would have to say the best thing about paying honor to this music is I got educated. Okay. I not only got educated on Tina's music, but I got educated with how to tell a story well. If you listen to Tina's music, okay, let's just start with what's love got to do with it? What's love got to do with it? I mean, everybody wants to be loved, right? And she says it's a secondhand emotion, right? That's what she's sharing.
Yeah.
Her experience probably was that very much. It was a secondhand emotion. If you go back to her life and how she grew up and the relationship she had in the very beginning, it was not the best.
Yeah.
So I could see it being a secondhand emotion.
Yeah.
But at the end of that song, when she would sing it, she'd ask the audience, "What's love got to do with it?" And she said, everything. Absolutely everything. And so I even adopted that in my shows.
Yeah.
Because I do believe the message that what love has to do with it is love has to do with everything. I mean, love is a driving force for a lot of things. I think in relationship for all things. And so that particular one, and then I don't know if you guys know, but I got totally educated on Private Dancer. Like that Private Dancer was one of the songs I did not want to do because I'm like, I don't want to do this song. I don't like it. It's not, something I want to do. Now, here's two things that happens with that. If a client asks for a show, you have to decide if you're going to do the show as the client asks.
Yeah.
Or you don't even include it in your playlist, right?
Yeah.
So that's a tip for y'all. Like if you don't want to do a song, it shouldn't be on your playlist. But we had that song on our playlist, right? Now, getting back to my favorite part of being able to tell a story in these songs and being educated about what was happening in the body of this work. Private Dancer is actually a woman who really doesn't want to be a private dancer.
Right.
If you listen to the lyrics really closely, she says, I want to have a husband and some children. Oh yes, I want a family, but all the men come in these places and the men are all the same. You don't look at their faces. So she's like this story of this woman basically going through the motions of this lifestyle she's chosen.
Yeah.
But she didn't really want that for herself. And I never paid attention to like, this is actually a powerful song. And especially for you and I who, have the background of being Christians, we know we understand like having a life and then change into a new way of living. And that's what that song was really crying out for. Like, I don't want this, but I'm doing this. Maybe I have to do this. I want this. I want a family. I want children. And I think that, a lot of people misunderstand that song. And so, I was even afraid like, oh, if I do this song, what are people going to think about me? Blah, blah, blah. And when I removed myself from like, it's not about me, I'm a storyteller telling the body of this work. And does this work have a message? Absolutely. So I loved that part of this, that part of the journey of, doing these songs, because I actually learned a lot about what they meant, and actually how they could help someone, with me interpreting them. So that was a good part for me to really discover that. And it took me a while.
Yeah.
It took me a while to really get it. Like, you're paying honor to this person. What story are they telling? I think sometimes we'll take on songs because they're fun and they like you can shake your body on them. And I've taken on some of those songs too. But when it comes to Tina's work, there are messages behind these songs. I mean, I don't want to fight. Oh, that's a big one.
Yeah.
I don't care who's wrong or right. I don't want to fight. That's what I love about this woman. She just, like, the message was there. She was communicating things that were really helpful for people. And any of you who haven't really listened to a lot of Tina's songs, I would encourage you to go and listen, because the messages are there and they're powerful.
Yes.
I have another question I want to ask you. I want to shift gears here. What what has been a difficult moment for you? Like, we talked about last week about what you learned about how to do a band differently. Like, maybe a difficult moment or an embarrassing moment that gave you some discovery about you.
A difficult moment that gave me some discovery. Well, I would say probably the most difficult moment was off stage, and you and I were both there when we had come to the point of telling one of our longtime performers that, in terms of looking the direction that we're going, that it's not going to work anymore. And that was a very, very hard moment. And I knew it needed to be done.
Yeah.
You knew it needed to be done. In fact, other people in the group were in their own way communicating like, this is not going to work any longer. We have a situation with someone. It's not because they're a bad person, but their viewpoint about things differs, right?
Yeah.
And when that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Someone is welcome to their opinion, but in certain circumstances, you have to. The wise thing to do is say, no, we're going to part ways at this point because we want to go that direction and you want to go in another way. But it was very, very hard to have to make that message because we had a long time working relationship and a friendship, and it just it was sad that I let it go on too long. I let the issues and the sort of the things that where we weren't connected go on for a little bit too long, and so that makes it so much more difficult when you actually have to deliver a difficult message to somebody.
I got you.
Yeah, that was very, very hard. And
trying to fix your microphone here.
I still think about that, from every so often it come to mind, and it's like, gosh, that is kind of a regret in a sense, because I don't want to hurt anybody, and I don't think the person is not a bad person, but I think it had a really hard impact on all of us.
Yeah, that I remember that. That was definitely very hard because there was no love lost at all.
No.
But sometimes it feels like that.
Yes,
it feels like that. I will say the most difficult part for me with trying to do the tribute is because I gave all of me to the show, to the performance, to the work. That I remember that time very clearly when we found out for the first time we were pregnant. We found out we were pregnant, and I was very, very, it was in the first trimester. So the early stages, and not even many people even knew. That's how early it was. And so I remember performing the Tina Turner songs. I had on the outfit and I was dressed. And I mean, I'm talking about, it was a full theater.
Yes, it was.
Packed house, because these people really loved Tina Turner. And I think it was sold out. Like it was standing room. There was no other space. And I remember coming in and I did the performance and I did my normal thing. And because I'm pretty energetic. So I'm doing my normal thing and doing the moves. And all of a sudden, I started to hemorrhage in the middle of the show.
On stage.
In the middle of the show. And I could feel it. Like, and I was so embarrassed. I said, oh my gosh, I hope these people don't see this. And it was on the actual stage. It was coming out on the stage. And I remember that was like really hard. I remember like just bouncing on over to one of the backup singers. I forgot who it was at the time.
I think it was Sherry.
Okay, Sherry. And I said, hey, I need to go to the bathroom. I need you to carry this show, because we would do in the shows. We'd also like when something was off or something was happening, we'd bounce on over and dance to the movie and kind of like perform and whisper in the ear like this and keep the smile going. And I'm whispering in her ear and I'm like, I need you to take over this show because I gotta go. So like stuff like that. We knew the show must continue to go on. That's what we were committed to, and we felt that. So I left the show. And my assistant at the time, Linda, she notices something's wrong. So she runs back to meet me to the bathroom. And I said, listen, I'm pregnant, because she didn't even know. And I said, I'm hemorrhaging. I believe I'm losing this baby. And that was like so hard, y'all. Like just, and I remember just stopping and sitting down. So they went and helped me to get cleaned up. And I always would bring extra clothes. So I fixed myself up. And I remember just praying, God, I know I'm here to serve these people that are out here, but I want this baby. I prayed for this baby for a long time. And so if you're taking this baby and I'm not going to have this baby, just help me to be okay with it and help me to get back out there and finish this show. And so I prayed that prayer. And I remember I just had like this amazing amount of strength to just go back. So I went back to the stage and I finished the song, but by that time we were doing some of the ballads. So I was able to sit down on some of it. And I remember just after the show that you guys rushed me to the hospital.
Yes.
So I think that was the most difficult time for me to be able to just keep doing a show and keep the honor going when what was happening for me. They didn't know about it, and I will tell you, people totally enjoyed that show and they did not know what was going on. But it was so difficult. But that's how much we loved her, that we kept going despite what was happening. And by the grace of God, of course, I was rushed to that hospital and that baby was intact and that heartbeat was fine. And that's my oldest, y'all, which she is actually born one day after Tina's birthday. I tried to have her on November 26th, but she was like, no, I'm getting my own day. So it's beautiful. She's just like, I get to celebrate Tina's birthday and then I get to celebrate hers the next day. But that was very hard times.
Wow. Yeah. Well, let me commend you, because that takes enormous strength, enormous professionalism, enormous faith above and beyond any descriptor. And I do remember that. I seem to recall the show ended and like you marched off the stage, and I believe your mom drove you to the hospital. I had to tear down, and
you couldn't even go.
Like I don't even. We did have cell phones then, but I mean, like, okay, what in the world is going on? I got to get out of here as fast as possible. I still got to pay the band. I've got to deal with all this stuff. And I seem to recall getting in the hospital about 3:00 in the morning. Right? I mean, it was like, okay. And so I show up and we're in the ER, and the guy did the ultrasound. He's like, oh no, baby's still there. And like, we were just, wow. Oh my, what a miracle. What a miracle. Yeah, I think it was in the first trimester. And she stayed in the womb until November 27th.
Till it was her time.
November 26th, that year happened to be Thanksgiving Day, and they didn't want to, the doctor didn't want to come in to the hospital on Thanksgiving Day.
Was November 26th Thanksgiving? Or was
because
it
the next day was a Friday, if I remember correctly, and that's when they wanted to do the induction, basically.
The induction,
induce you.
inducing.
Yeah, they wanted to induce you, and so they wouldn't. I guess they wouldn't book you on Thanksgiving Day. So otherwise, she could have been born. But you know what's cool, ladies and gentlemen, is that November 27th happens to be Jimi Hendrix's birthday. So
That's true.
he's
So
another greatest of all time.
But the thing is, she got her day.
She did. She got her own, not Tina Turner's day,
and which is very, very cool because they both have their own days. Yes. But yeah, so that was the difficult part. But like I want to talk about really quickly. What are your thoughts about, like, just for people who are doing tributes and doing music and paying honor to other people? What is one thing you could say of how to do it well?
I would start with humility.
Humility. In what way? Be specific.
First, the first thing in terms of being humble, when you're paying tribute to somebody else, you are blessed by the hard work that person did before you. They cut the path, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why you're able to do what you do, the people are coming down because of that artist's repertoire or that artist's performance, and they want to see a replica, or another, if they can't get to see that artist directly, or they're no longer with us or whatnot, then they want you to entertain them with that artist's music. And so you have to be humble and grateful to say, wow, thank you so much for all of the hard work that you have done before us to allow us this opportunity. And in Tina Turner's case, by the time we started doing it, she had already had a career that was nearly 40 years long.
Yeah.
She had been through ups and downs and, tragedy and triumph. And so she had really paved a huge road for us. And we're basically like, okay, what's the playlist?
Yeah.
How do the arrangements go? What do the costumes look like? All right, great. Let's go have fun.
Yes, it was pretty. It's like the template is there. There's nothing else to do. Yeah, the template is there. I would say, another area of how to do an artist well. I want to do a sidebar really quickly before I go into this. I know that since Tina's passing, I have personally seen online a lot of people creating honor, where they pay honor. Some artists are doing it on their concerts, and I love it. I think that's pretty awesome. I think Tom Jones did one.
He did, yeah.
Lizzo did hers. Different people are doing it, and they have that opportunity because they are already kind of in the limelight. So people are going to listen and hear them share the music, which I love. But there are some people who are just people like us who are going out and creating tributes to honor Tina Turner. Now, I don't know if she's always been someone that these people like, or that they've been desiring this. I don't know why it comes now, except for like she's passing. Some people may want to, and I want to give people the benefit of the doubt. However, for those of you who are creating tributes just to kind of like what do you call it? Capitalize on it or make money on it. I'm going to tell you now, it breaks my heart, and I think I don't think it's cool. And I'll say that, and the reason being is because we should never be trying to make money off somebody's death. We should be honoring and celebrating the life and the legacy that she left us. And so if that's what you're doing, more power to you. We would support you, and we actually would love to help you if that's you out there. But if you're trying to capitalize on it, shame on you, to be honest. I think it's wrong, and I will say that with all my heart, because that's how you do not create a tribute well. That's how you do not honor well. Whenever money is your driving force to do it, then you actually are not really capturing exactly the beauty of what an honoring actually is. So I want to encourage you, if that is you, to really go back and look at why you do what you do. And that's the key, I think, even for us. We didn't look at it with like, oh, how can we make money on it? And I'm telling you, I'm going to be honest with you. We have made money doing it, but that's not how we started off the tribute. We liked the music. I was listening to it every day. It got in my body, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to sing like this. And Tina's actually inspired me to go on and write my own stuff and do my own stuff. So I have my own show too. And I was inspired by her to create my own material. I think that that's when I started writing more and started actually doing more of my own stuff. But I just, I'm totally against that capitalization type stuff where you're taking, and I think she's not the only one it was done with. It's been done with, I think, a lot of artists, people have done that. And I just feel like, y'all, if you want to pay honor, you want to do it well and you want to do it right, and don't do it based on how much money you can make, because at the end of the day, those people's songs anyway. It's never going to be your song. So if you want to write great music, go and write some great music and capitalize on that, on the stuff that you write. So that's just a little sidebar. But that really, when I saw that, it just really affected my heart. And I actually got angry for a moment, because I love Tina so much. But I think that those of you who are really wanting to pay honor, we could all do this thing together too, and come together and do something special and honor her in a way that I think would be so beautiful and so powerful. But that's one of the things that I believe honoring well requires you to think through why you want to do it, and do it from a place of that the person is the first and foremost focus of their artwork, that you really want that artwork to shine and blossom. And that's how you honor well.
I agree. I don't think there's anything wrong with being compensated for your work. The worker deserves his wages. And for me, the way I look at it, if a person is seeking to capitalize, that is kind of self-centered. Right? It's
That's
not
a good
honor.
point.
It's self-centered in the first place. And I've learned after, doing it for so many years, I look at the people that, I know what I'm doing. I know how much work I'm doing, how much work you're doing, how much the people that serve with us, that perform with us, how much work they're doing. And for that labor, and the heart that they put behind that labor, I would say, yep, they deserve a paycheck for it. But the driving force that's the sort of the fruit of it. The driving force is to do good art, good entertainment, pay homage to the person who's the artist that you're tributing, and making sure that the audience is having a great experience, because they're the ones ultimately who are paying your paycheck. It's all those things. So yes, if someone is out there and looks and says, yeah, well, here's the current news, and this icon has passed, and maybe I can sort of jump in and do something. Okay, just check your heart.
Yeah.
Just check your heart.
Check your heart, people. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with doing a tribute and paying honor, but it's all about why you do what you do. That's very important. And lay down the foundation of it. Don't just jump into it, actually. Lay down the foundation of it. Look at the playlist. Look at, okay, which songs do I want to cover? Also look at which songs people know, because a lot of times people want to cover stuff and nobody knows the song. And then you're going to have people on their phone while you're doing it because it's not a hit. It's not something that they know. So you got to figure out like your audience also, because you remember these people are coming to hear these songs. They'll enjoy you, absolutely, but they're coming to hear those songs. And so that's another way I feel like, creating something that's memorable instead of just putting something together is always more better. So if you take those steps and those strategies, for any of you who are trying to create tributes and honorings, just do it. Look at it from that perspective. Like I want to make sure that it's set up good, and I want to make sure that it has longevity. And I think that's why we've been doing it since 1998, because we didn't set it up right at the beginning, but we figured it out along the way. And God blessed it. So, we got a few more minutes here, but I want to just ask the people out there that are on, what is your favorite Tina Turner song? Tell us. What is your favorite Tina Turner song? Put it in the chat. Don't be scared. I want to see people put some stuff in the chat here.
Even if somebody else has the same song, it's all good.
Yes, it's all good. So I will share why people are doing that. One of my favorite songs. I did one when we were down. We got to visit the star, Tina Star, in Hollywood twice, actually. And I performed one of my favorites, which is Help. And I felt like that song is one of my favorites because it's crying, it's asking for help. And I think that we as people, there, we need to just ask for help, because I think sometimes, I knew I grew up in a strong female, household where these women were strong. And so asking for help sometimes is like, it's secondary, because it's like, I can do it. I don't need to get help right now. And so when that song says, when I was younger, so much younger than today, I never needed anyone's help. But, I think as she got older, she started to realize, I need it. Help me if you can. I'm feeling down. So, sometimes we need help. So ask for it. So that's one of my favorites that I shared with them at the start. But I absolutely love Y'all, I Don't Want to Fight. I think that and I try to perform that as much as I can, because there is too much fighting in our world over everything, over silly things. Some things are very well needed to be discussed and worked out and talked through, but there should never be any fighting over it. And I think that if we could get to a place as a culture of like, I don't need to fight all these battles that are out there. I don't need to fight.
Yeah.
And I don't care who's wrong or right. So that message that Tina shares in her music, I don't want to fight. That's what she's saying. She's like, you know what? It doesn't matter who's right or who's wrong. I don't care. I just don't want to fight. And so I think that became one of my favorites once I really listened to the lyrics. So what's your favorite?
Wow. Probably Proud Mary itself, because I cannot think of another song that is so like a train, like just going 100 miles an hour. I mean, it is such a powerful song. And what makes it so great is that it started out as a song by Creedence Clearwater Revival, right? And if you guys know your history, it goes back. They sort of were they were a rock band in the 60s and 70s, and their version I would call country rock.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a jangly, it's actually a good song. A good rock and roll song is very singable and all that stuff. But you take Tina Turner's version and it just flips the song. It deconstructs it, puts it back together in actually a couple of different parts, because they do an introduction where she does a talking with the audience and introduces the song and sings it at a slow tempo. And then all of a sudden it jumps into a mixture of like almost, it's R&B plus almost heavy metal because there's this big horn line in it that doesn't exist in the original version. And it just blazes along. And then what's really interesting is as she went through her career, she did different arrangements of it. She kept rearranging it. And so as you listen to different live versions of the song across time, you see, oh, well, that's kind of interesting how they did that breakdown, or they did this coda, or they have a fake ending here and they got they cut it down to bass and drum. It's just really, really interesting. And it is a song that people sing along with. Everybody knows the lyric. She took somebody else's song, it was a signature song, and turned it into her own even better. And it's just, I don't know. There's just nothing. There's just really no other song in popular music that I think of like it stands in a category by itself. By itself. Her various versions of it, and it's almost as if as she got older, each successive version was better than the last one. And it's just, and what's amazing is that that's the finale of the show, and there's really nothing that can follow it, except she was so good at putting together her playlist that she would do an encore of Nutbush City Limits, and that one as well. So now you've just taken this train ride, right? And now she puts you on a rocket ship.
Yep, it's like
the way she, Nutbush City Limits, when she did it in the 70s, it's cool, right? She tells a story of her hometown, and it's very funky, right?
Yeah,
and it's kind of a gritty, funky kind of song. But again, when she gets it into the live setting later in her career, it's like you just launched a rocket, and it's unbelievable. It is unbelievable.
That song was like doing that as an encore.
It's just unbelievable.
Was like, oh My gosh,
Yeah.
because y'all think Proud Mary,
Yeah,
like I like
exactly.
that's your favorite
Yeah.
one.
How do you follow Proud Mary? Oh, well, look, we've got something even wilder and
Mm.
bigger.
And if you've ever been to one of Tina Turner's tours, oh my gosh, that Nutbush City, and when she do that Proud Marriage, it's so explosive.
Yeah.
And then the stage is just lit up, the lights are
Yeah,
flashing
people are
everywhere, like
screaming.
woo, people are screaming.
Yeah,
I
it's
was on
nuts.
my feet the entire concert. But then she does Proud Mary, which is like her finale.
Yes.
And
10
then
minutes long.
yeah, it's 10 minutes. 10 minutes long.
How you can do like I watched Chantel and our dancers, like I'm sweating
Like,
just
what's going on?
watching them do the Proud Mary routine, and then we still have to do another song.
Yeah, and so we would do ours, and we'd leave the stage because we tried to capture Tina's show as we saw it live,
Yeah.
and that's how we did our show. And so basically, we go up, and then the people are screaming, "La, la, 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 la,
Yeah.
la," and encore. So we come out,
Yeah.
church out, get out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was like, woo, it was a whirlwind. And then by the time I feel like we all would need a nap.
Oh my gosh,
It
yes.
was like it's nap time, y'all. After those shows, I literally would do a Tina show and literally have to take at least 24 to 48 hours off.
Yeah, gotta stay in bed for a couple days.
That's how much her music works you.
If people, I would recommend that they go back and watch maybe her later concert tours, because there was one tour where they had this arm, like this mechanical arm that would come out over the audience.
Goodness.
And
Whoa.
I'm pretty sure it was on Nutbush that she does this. She's
whoa.
running. She's 60 some odd years old, running out over the audience on this big mechanical arm. And when we saw her one time, she had that, and the music is just raging. Like, oh my goodness, how you can't get any better.
It was just like,
unbelievable.
OMG. It was so
yeah,
explosive, y'all. I mean, I'm just envisioning it now.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. Go watch those, please. The tours that she did, the ones that I can think of, there's a 1996 tour, a 2000 tour, a 2009 tour. I'm pretty sure that you can find the live videos from those concert tours. It's amazing. They're all amazing to one degree or another.
It's amazing.
Yeah, you have to see them.
Thank you, babe. I wanted, because I asked for, if you're just jumping on, I wanted to just ask you, what's your favorite Tina song? I want to read some of these comments tonight. Okay, so that goes all the way back. Someone says, I hear y'all. Thank you for hearing. I'm glad y'all can hear us. Well, we would have known by now. Somebody would have put in there. We can't hear you. Joining you guys tonight. Thank you. I hear you both. Nice outfits. Thank y'all. My favorite one is Rolling on a River. Yes.
It's actually called
Proud Mary.
The hook is rolling on the river. Yes.
See, that's why we're doing this tonight. Because
it's called Proud Mary.
Yeah. Proud Mary. Thank you for being so raw, real, informative, and fun. You are welcome. Thank you for being on here. Someone says so much goes into people creating their sound and music that we should respect and honor them. Simply the Best is my favorite. That's a great song too.
Great song. I think it was won the Grammy.
Yes.
It's a great tune.
Yes. So I love the fact that you say people should respect and honor. And that is so powerful, because Aretha Franklin sang about that in a song that she actually remade from who sang
Otis
that?
Redding.
Otis Redding.
Yeah.
Respect is so huge. And if we don't come to the place of when we're doing this music with respect on it, we always will fall short. Yeah. We always will fall short. So thank you for sharing that. Someone put, yes, indeed. I can't wait to do a deep dive. My favorite Tina song is Proud Mary and Simply the Best.
Two of them.
We got it.
Oh, look at that.
But hard to say because so many. Oh, Nutbush. Rock Me Baby.
Yes. Watch What's Love Got to Do with It, the movie, for the version that they did of Rock Me Baby, and that's phenomenal.
That one's so good. Thank y'all for that. Okay, so y'all, we're going to show you a little highlight from one of our beginning performances, just so you can kind of get an idea of what it was like in the very beginning.
Way back when.
So I hope you could hear this. Let me pull this up real quick. Let's see. Here we go. This one is at the Orange County Fair.
Wow, look
right.
at that ancient history.
That's ancient history. That's ancient history, y'all. So that was like at the very beginning stages.
Yeah,
I
around
think
2001.
that was like, because
Somewhere.
I mean, it was a few years after we did our first one,
Yeah.
but that was when we would get hired at festivals and fairs, and
Yeah.
that people started to really hear about this tribute band, and so people would start hiring us.
I wish that we could have turned the camera around, because actually the audience was probably about 500 people.
Yep, so a lot
we
of
were
people
on a stage where there was a lot of seating, and I remember playing and watching sort of the people in the distance walking by, turning their heads, and then stopping, and then coming in to sit down, because there wasn't anything at the fair like that.
Mm-hmm. And that was actually the second string, because we had a first string of singers in 1998, 1999.
Yeah, that was the second.
This was the second string.
Yeah,
yeah, who was with us for a long
while, yeah.
time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So thank you guys for entertaining that. I'm gonna leave you guys with this. We're gonna play a little bit of Tina's video that I found on TikTok, Instagram of Tina. Someone kind of like captured a little bit of conversation with her and just some highlights from her career. So I want to share that a little bit, but
let me make one
just to answer people. It says I love Chantel Denise's version of Rock Me Baby, my favorite song, Tina Turner, Proud Mary. Then someone says, oh, that's Jackie Ridgel. Yes, that was Jackie Ridgel. And Andre Mulia. And Tracy was somewhere back there. The camera didn't capture her. She was on there that day too. Nice tribute. Way to go, sing, Chantel. Thank you. Yes, Gigi. Wow, that was an awesome. So yes, that was way back. That was with the real blonde wig.
Yes.
I mean, it was white almost.
Real glowing blonde wig.
It was white almost. But we want to just leave you guys with this. We love Tina's music and the way that she performed on stage. And if you can get a chance, I know that they're going to be doing the tour of the musical. Her musical is going to be at the Pantages Theater. I don't get any money for this, but I just want to tell y'all, Go
Go
to
see
the
it.
go see the show if you can. You'll get at least a glimpse of her story. They don't tell it all, but they do the storytelling pretty well.
Yeah.
And it is a different cast, I believe, from Broadway. So you're not going to get the Broadway singer, but it will be a good show. Pantages always usually puts on a good show. And I think Sherry Ron, as I said last week, should be on that show as well. So if you know her, go and support. The show should be great. And I think more than anything, it'll give you an opportunity to really hear her music and really hear her story, because that's what's important about any person's life, is if you get to hear their real story and the journey of what they did while they were here on this earth. So I'm actually going to go. I've already been to one, but I'm going to go again this month in June, actually, to see it. So did you had one last words
we
you
were
wanted
going
to
through
share?
all the names of the people who perform with us, and we forgot at least one.
Yes.
Which is our friend Steve Stevens, who happens to be a phenomenal drummer.
Yes, we want to give proper honor
proper
to
credit, because he came in and did a
last
show
minute.
Yeah,
at
very
that.
last minute, and he smoked. I mean, he's great.
He
And
smoked.
so
And did we say Stacy too? I think we got him
Stacy
in.
Lamont Sidnor. Yes,
Stacey Lamont
he actually
Sidnor.
played another great, phenomenal drummer.
Yeah.
Who played with us too. And so yeah, these we've had just such a blessing of having so many people come through and help us out.
Yeah. And I don't know if I could have, but if I didn't, it's just a repeat. But Linda Knievi, who was our assistant, we're so grateful for her. She made the shows for us run real smoothly. I pretty much was able to get out on that stage every time, like quick.
Yeah.
And that's because she would have my clothes laid out, like ready to go. And I mean, she would get our water. She would do, I mean, she really, really blessed the show.
There was even your mom on one video.
And then my mom also has done wardrobe for me, making costumes, and also being backstage, sewing costumes before a show.
Yes.
Sewing stuff for me before I had to go hit the stage. Y'all, so that's a lot of love. We got a lot of people. So all the people who have been a part of Proud Mary, and either way, whether it's behind the stage or in front of the stage, we thank you so much for helping us honor Tina. So I'm going to close out y'all with this video, but we want to thank y'all. We'll come back right at the end and just give you guys a wave out. But here you go. Let me pull this particular video up right here. Let's see.
First time he had actually violently beat me. We're not talking about a lick or whatever. This was actually the first time he ever hit me. I was shocked because I never knew. My mother and father fought, but I'd never been actually seen anybody be beaten, so to speak,
Yet Tina had made a promise not to leave him, and she honored it. She was the mother of the 4 children they had between them. They continued to produce records and toured constantly to pay the bills. And the violence not only continued, but escalated as Ike got into cocaine.
Sometimes you'd see her with broken jaws and just, with the coffee in the face and all of that. And
Rhonda Graham traveled with the Ike and Tina Turner Review for 12 years.
You felt helpless, just totally, totally helpless. And if you tried to help at all, then it came back and she was the one that got the blunt end of it, and then he would go after her even more because you're trying to help. So the best thing to do was just to stay out of it and just hope that, a few licks and that was it.
The first 7 years was dealing with the reality of what I had stepped into. The second 7 years with Ike is when I started to think about that I must think about myself and how to leave and what to do. The obstacles was the fact that my kids were in high school, to pull my kids out of school, not having a place for myself to try to put them in another school. Where would I put my children? What would I do? There was nothing that I couldn't deal with there for a little bit longer for the sake of my children.
But by the mid-70s, Ike was out of control on drugs. Tina had reached the end of the road.
There's an expression of being fed up to here, and then you're fed up. Up. You don't say up to here even, you just say up.
This was Ike and Tina Turner's final act.
Hey, come on, man. I'm trying to get.
It was 1976, and they were on their way to do a show in Dallas.
Hey, you better come back over here so I can get some sleep now.
Go straight to hell, I was wearing a brand new Yves Saint Laurent white suit. I felt great that day. How dare someone ruin my day?
Woman, I tell you, get your ass in this car. I ain't playing with you, man.
Tina says scenes like this weren't unusual, except this time she fought back.
What's wrong with you?
Now I'm going to show you guys this, a little bit of this, and I'm going to go through for fast forward a little bit, but I did want you guys to kind of really see just, if you haven't seen the movie, what she kind of went through, but I will fast forward a little bit because I want to get to the part where you see her as she is, as she was before she passed. She got out of
Yeah, I
that.
think my hand bounced. I might have hit so hard as remembering it. Now it's all coming back somehow. But yeah, I really gave a good one. By the time we got to the hotel, my face was really quite deformed, really out past my ear, the swelling was. Wow. And I didn't care that particular time. I was happy that blood was all over me, and I want the public to see, you know. They walked into the Hilton Hotel, and I had my head high. I never cried. I didn't cry once because I knew that that was it.
Can I call you a doctor? Oh, man, I don't nobody need no damn doctor. Where the elevator at? Come on.
I grabbed my handbag, which was some toiletries and things.
Sir?
And the longer I ran, I think the faster I ran. And I ran straight out of the hotel. And there was the Ramada Inn across the way. And I never felt what it felt like to run across a freeway. It's terrifying. And I walked into the hotel, and I asked for the manager of the hotel. And of course, yes, I was full of blood, and my face was disfigured. And I said to him,
I'm Tina Turner. I have 36 cents and a mobile card. But if you would give me a room, I swear I will pay you back.
and that was my word. That's all I could give. And surprisingly, this red-faced Texan, certainly, the next day was the 4th of July, Independence Day.
It was Independence Day. Oh my.
A time where, if you... I haven't found one that I wanted to replace it with yet, but it's a weird voice. I'm hearing it. Sometimes I'm thinking, who is that? It's me.
In the last 5 years, she's performed for at least 7 million fans all over the world. And with her life story on the screen and what may be her final concert tour on stage, this summer could be the pinnacle of her career. Tina Turner is on a roll.
And we're rolling.
So these last 5, 6 years, what has life been like for you?
Well, what can I say? I became happy. Bet you gonna find some people who live. Happiness is something that's very rare for all of us. And, yes, I would say this type of happiness for the first time. Don't have to worry, you got no money. I achieved my goals. My dream was realized. Still a lot of hard work, but that's the life.
That's it, y'all.
Wow.
That is a great story. We just broke it up in bits and pieces, but y'all, you can see all that she went through.
Yeah.
I love the part when she say that it was Independence Day and she was free.
Yeah.
And then, you know, that she found her happiness. You know, it was a lot of hard work to get there, but she found her happiness. And y'all, that's one of the other reasons why I love doing this honoring towards Tina and playing her music, is because she was so positive. She was so full of life. She found her life despite what she had been through. She did not live in her experience, but she let her experience lead her to go on to do greater things. So that's a little bit of our journey with Tina Turner. We've watched that movie a few times, and we love watching her, listening to her interviews, because she always has some great words of wisdoms. And that's another thing. Go and listen to some of her interviews and listen to who she was and the things that she was offering the world and what she left us with. Pretty remarkable. We thank you, Tina. We love you, Tina. We miss you, Tina. So for all of you out there, thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate you. And as always, make it a great day because you can. Thank y'all for watching. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.